Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformers Studio Series Voyager class Shockwave from the 86 movie. You can see him there in front of the box. We'll go ahead and put him off the side real quick and take a look at that box. And yes, it is a Studio Series box. So of course you got the big red Transformers font. You got the blue Banshee Studio Series. You got artwork of Shockwave in both his robot and alt modes. Well, not the one people prefer. You got the Transformers movie and Shockwave right there in Hasbro. And of course 26 steps to go between the two, which is a little generous, I'm going to be honest. Then you got Transformers, Le Film again, Shockwave to Cartomy up there, and on this side you have, hey, Shockwave, on this side you have an extension of Shockwave. Hey, look, there's Cybertron, the bit where, Laserbeak returns Megatron. And yeah, of course on the bottom here you have, some manufacturing details and what's included, and on the back you have some copyrights and warnings, authentic seal, there's some product shots there, of posing, and then up here, hey, look, there's a screen cap of him, and Shockwave is a powerful, logic-driven Decepticon warrior. Because he didn't really do much in the movie. The only other thing he did was, the whole Decepticons were under attack scramble. And of course he comes with instructions, which if you're familiar with this mold, you won't really need, considering it's, is this like the fourth time they released this mold? So, yeah. Shockwave. I was going to do a very quick version of this review, but then realized the last time I reviewed this mold was 2019, which that's 7 years ago now. Alright. That's kind of scared me when I had that revelation. But anyway, yeah. This is a more cartoonish, accurate version of the Siege Shockwave mold without all the armor bits and some smoothing out. But yeah, you can see it is, it's Shockwave. Complete with a little gray antenna. He's got his yellow eye, which there is some light piping. I'm sure the camera's picking up, but yeah. Well, actually, yeah, you can see that. Little bit right there works pretty well. You got Decepticon symbols right there on his arms. He's got his mono boob with the little nice bit of tech detailing underneath. You got the gray thighs, the purple shins, gray feet. Some little extra bits like this and this. Which is kind of necessary considering how he transforms and everything. They had to make a sacrifice of some sort. But yeah, it's a Shockwave. It's a G1 Shockwave. And yep, the thing is, between this and the Siege mold, which unfortunately I can't do an extensive comparison because I already sold my Siege Shockwave because the timing. I wanted to get some footage, but yeah, of a comparison, but I can't do too in depth. You'll see what I mean later, but yeah. As generally, basically, it smoothed out a lot of the greebling. They got rid of some bits and pieces. They, like there's no more battle damage. There's no more silver on the side here. There's no peg holes here either. They did, basically adjusted the purple coloring, and there you go. More G1 accurate, although again with the gray backpack because, well, basically his alt mode requires the gray. But his posability is pretty much the same as the original version of the original Siege version. You got, left and right here at the head. You got up and down. You got waggle, all that stuff because it's a ball joint. You do have a rotation here. At the shoulders, you got outward right there. You do have a bicep swivel. You do have elbows, which bend a little over 90 degrees. There are wrist swivels, of course. This one, of course, will be a little bit hindered if you have the tube plugged in. You can plug this in elsewhere if you want, just to get it out of the way or whatever. Or yeah, just plug that in elsewhere if you want, just to, so you can free up the arm articulation there. But there is that bit. So there's that. Down here at the waist is unhindered. You have full rotation right there. Hips can go forward that far and back that far and outward. They go that far. Oh yeah, I almost forgot there is a second hinge up there too because of transformation, so you can really do that and bonk himself in the head. Right there, you do have a thigh swivel right there, mid-thigh. He has clicky knees, which can quite a bit of range, 90 degrees that way, and you can also break them if you want. So there's that. And down here at the feet, you do have some limited ankle articulation because of how it's... I wish that's one thing that changed, which maybe they added a flap here so they could go farther, but, that's it. So, yeah, that's... yeah, it's pretty much the same mold, which some people find to be a problem because of the fact that, well, the Studio Series line has gotten a bit of a adjustment in scale. And, yeah, he's kind of now seems to be a bit short. But he does now come with his little... himself. This is done entirely in purple, and of course this can be held no problem, like so. Now you can emulate the animation error, which someone misunderstood what Shockwave actually was. So you do have all that stuff. As for some measurements, his height to the top of his head is 6 1/4 inches or 15.8 centimeters, and his weight is 4.9 ounces or 138 grams. So there you go, pretty standard Voyager fare. That. So, real quick comparisons. Here he is next to the Siege Shockwave, which, yeah, you can see the differences in the purples and the lack of greebling and whatnot. Yeah, there is that. All that stuff. So, yeah, by the way, if you're wondering if the old armor is compatible with this new guy, some of it, I believe the extra gun bits that go over the backpack and the bits that go in the feet are compatible. The shoulder bits are not. The peg holes are no longer there, so those don't work, plus the colors mismatch anyway. So there is that stuff. But on top of that, here is the new Studio Series Starscream, which, yeah, this kind of starts illustrating the bit of the problem here, which is, you can see, well, here Starscream sounds with Shockwave are roughly the same height, which might be a problem. Shockwave is supposed to be a bit on the taller side. But yeah, also here's the new Studio Series Soundwave, which, yeah, noticeably taller than Shockwave, which is not correct. If I recall, these two are supposed to be roughly the same height, which this is where we start getting issues with the new... They made no changes to the size of the old figure, so here you go. That's a bit of an issue for some people. And of course, here he is next to Studio Series Megatron, who, yeah, is towering over him now, which, yeah, that's not quite accurate anymore, which is a little bit of a problem for some people, a lot of people. For me, it's not a huge problem, but is a little bit of a nuisance. There have been upgrade kits, namely they're giving him platform shoes, which I don't think look good. There's one that kind of completely replaces his waist with a bigger one, which kind of helps a lot, but unfortunately kind of breaks a feature. The one I specifically got this Shockwave for, because I wasn't going to get him until I found out about this, so yeah. In general, his robot mode looks really good. The only problem is he's just a little on the short side now. And that's, so, yeah, now people are scrambling to fix that, which breaks something for me personally, which I'm not really thrilled with. So let's go ahead and get him transformed, which is very simple. I'm going to get this gun out of his hand, and then, well, from here, what you want to do is, well, take the chest here, you open this up right here, take the head, collapse it in, tab that back in right there, and then you take this, unplug this bit right there, and then take the arms and just bring them up all the way on these hinges right here. Just bring those up, bring them in, and bring them together like that, more or less. Kind of leave a gap there, because then you're going to also take this backpack and unpeg this and bring it forward, and then open this bit up right here, and then, yeah, as well as being big enough gap right here. And then right here, this is something new they actually also added, was these little tabs here which go in little slots on the sides of this little armature, which help you line it up better. At least sometimes it just is like, I've noticed that sometimes it just doesn't want to actually peg in. There we go. Yeah, so you do all that stuff, and then you go ahead and close this up over top and make sure it's fully closed like that. So, right. And then from here, what you want to do is go ahead and right here at the thighs, you go ahead and rotate each thigh 180, like so. Make sure the feet are trying to straighten out. Bring out, spread them out a bit so you can get in here, and then open this up right here. And go ahead right here, and you can see this leg can be collapsed like so. That, and just kind of leave that for now. And then same thing on this side, open this up right here, and then again collapse the leg in. Also notice on this one, it's a lot more difficult to get the legs uncollapsed going back to robot mode compared to my Siege version, so I'm not sure what the heck's about, but yeah, you do all that, and of course you bring the legs and you tab them together, including this bit right here. Tab that all together, make sure it stays tabbed together. And this right here, this tabs right here will go into the little slot right here, like so, bring it all the way in. And then right here, go ahead and bring these out right here. And right here, you take this and plug this in right here, like so. And then you go ahead and take this right here and bring this out. And with that, you have Shockwave in his vehicle mode. And yes, once again, we have the whole thing of like Shockwave is more or less, well, a spacecraft, because, well, they can't give us a proper Shockwave necessarily, because, well, yeah, things have gotten weird. Things have gotten more strict since the 80s, and yeah, so they're giving us, well, this spacecraft. You know, I think it looks pretty decent, all right. It's got landing gear right here and everything. It looks all right. You got the gray thing. You got this big purple translucent bit right here, which looks pretty all right. Although you can see a fist and a gun in there. And you got, you know, thrusters and everything, and it's got a bridge and yeah, all this stuff. And well, you can also store the gun here, right here. This plugs in right there like that. It just plugs in, stores away nicely there. But of course, you can also, you know, fold these away and turn it over and granted, it's kind of small and there's no trigger and everything. I mean, look at this thing, it's tiny. If it don't break this dang thing. I'm kidding. I'm not really. It's not fragile or anything, but yeah. But yeah, it's small-ish, and only if you got really small hands this is going to work. But I mean, yeah, you got a gun, I guess. It works. It is a Shockwave looking guy. There's that. Yeah, it's pretty much a Shockwave. You know, they tell us it's a spaceship or whatever, but well, we all know what it actually is. The only thing really is interesting enough, these bits right here are hollow now, which were not hollow on the older version of the mold, which is kind of interesting. As for also measurements in this mold, his length is 8¼ inches or 20.9 centimeters and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get him back real quick. Yeah. Again, as for some comparison stuff, you know, here he is with the Siege Shockwave. As you can see, you know, all that. How they compare there, and yeah, it's pretty much the same spaceship, just, you know, some different molding. And well, this new one can't have the old big huge attachments. Although actually I think it can, because in this mode, for the most part, because of how it works. So yeah, you can. But again, the purple is offset, plus the purples will be off, and plus, you know, it doesn't quite match because of the greebling and whatnot. But yeah. Also, here's a Studio Series Starscream. Just get an idea on that. Because, you know, now I guess they're both flying things. Again, here's Studio Series Soundwave, even though, yeah, it's a tape. Yeah. Whatever, sure, why not? I just did it because he's here. And here's Studio Series Megatron in his tank mode. So there's that whole thing. So, yep, there's all of that. One last thing I want to point out, which is this is an official mode now. For, well, he's compatible with Bruticus, but that's surprising. So what you do with that, of course, you fold that away, you fold these away, and then what you do is you untab the handle here, right there, you split the legs a bit, and you bring this down, and this right here, you can see these peg holes, which this is new molding as well. You bring these down, so that these pegs down here on the legs will go in between, and you know, put it back together like this, and now you see there's this tab here, and there's actually a new tab right here. Now on Bruticus's right arm, the Age of the Primes Bruticus's right arm here. Hey, look, something right here. There's a slot right here, and there's a slot right here. And you can use that to, yeah, you could use these to, it's best if you do it kind of front to back like this. And that will come together, and now, well, Bruticus will have a shoulder cannon. Because, yeah, this handle is a little too big for the actual hands. You can see all the other hands. But yeah, you can now have a shoulder cannon. Yes, also, by the way, yes, I do have the new Onslaught. So yeah, that review is coming pretty soon as well. You can do that. If you have an older version of this mold, you can theoretically do that. It doesn't have this tab, but this tab's still here. It also doesn't have this locking point, but you can kind of BS it. You can fold this back and tab it in back here. It will work. I didn't record it, but I did do a brief experiment with it. It kind of works. It's not super secure. This part right here, you know, the hinge right here is not secured, so it can kind of flop forward a bit. There's no tab here, so, you know, just be mindful of that. It kind of just frictions on and it comes off really easily, but for display, it will work. But just be know this is much more secure than any previous version of the mold. So just an FYI on that. And it also only works with the right shoulder. The left shoulder does not have the slots. It has this slot, but doesn't have this front slot for that tab. So just an FYI. So actually that means theoretically you can take a second Shockwave if you have the older one and, yeah, have them have two cannons or something. Also, the other thing is, I'll mention this probably again, but yeah, you have to attach this first, then attach Blast Off, because otherwise they kind of get in each other's way. So yeah, I just wanted to show that off real quick. Yeah, Shockwave here, not too bad. It's just kind of, unless if you're not really into that particular feature or whatever, it's kind of harder to justify buying this one just because, well, we've had this mold, you know, this is the 4th time this mold has been available to buy. There was the Siege version, there was the Marvel Comics version, there was the Dramatic Capture Series version, and all this version. That's the ones I can think of. There might have been, did they release the Astroman version? I think they did. I want to think they did the gray Radio Shack version, you know, Radio Wave, Shockwave, whatever you want to call them. I think they did that, but I'm not 100% certain. Regardless, it's at least the 4th time they released this mold, so, and they've made a minor adjustment. So And even increase the height, which is really irritating, and kind of a little irritating considering the whole adjustment to the Studio Series scale. So, now he's a little short compared to the rest of his Studio Series brethren. He's still a great mold. I still like it. And now at Voyager rather than Leader class, he doesn't have a bunch of parts that people really didn't like. So, on that front, he's not too bad. But it's basically, if you already have another Shockwave, I personally, unless you really, really want even closer cartoon accuracy with all the greebling, or you really want the compatibility with the new Age of the Primes Bruticus, he's really not worth replacing the previous versions. And if you don't have the previous versions, sure, go buy this guy. He's a great mold. It's fun. It's a fun little mold. Very simple transformation and stuff. I mentioned that, but yeah, very simple transformation. But yeah, it's just that's the kind of the deal. It's just simply he's not really a huge upgrade compared to the previous versions. If anything, he's just a side grade. And if you want that height, you're going to have to go get some upgrade kits, which also might, for example, one of them breaks that compatibility with the Bruticus shoulder thing. So, that's a bit of an issue for me personally. So, yeah, so just be aware of that. It's decent. It's a good mold, but it's not really worth getting it again if you already have it. Well, even though that's exactly what I did. But I did sell the old one, so, and more or less zeroed out how much I paid for this. So, hey, that works out. So, yeah. There you go. Good robot, but not really worth the upgrade if you already have a version of this mold. So, an older version of this mold. So, that's it for this review. I hope you found it informative, retaining. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my social media down in the description and at the end of the video. Check out my Coffee and Patreon. I shall see you next time with another video review.